All right, everybody, welcome back to another Total Annihilation replay. Today we have a very exciting game for you. We have RVD, Speed Clicking Irishman, and we have Andy. So we've got Andy down here in the south and RVD in the top. Now, I'm going to have to add the caveat here. I know it's spelled Pro Randy with the lowercase r, but I've only ever seen anyone online call him Andy. And so, Andy, if you're watching this, and I think you're subscribed, so you're gonna have to let me know in the comments if you prefer to go by Randy or Andy. But like I said, everybody that I've seen write your name always calls you Andy. So, and then up here we have another Andy. Although I don't know if he goes by Andrew or anyway, we have RVD, the speed clicking Irishman, and then Andy. Andy's been was always a really good player for the Pro Clan. Has been playing constantly, and gosh, I don't think I've ever known TA without him just kind of showing up and playing every now and then. So the map that we're playing on here today, this is Trout Farm. You can see that there are all kinds of different buildings and things to reclaim here. So we got these little trucks that are worth around 50 metal, and then we got these big buildings ranging from 500 all the way up to ones that are worth 7,000, 9,000. I think there's even an 11,000 building. And so we'll go ahead and get this started here, and you kind of see how two players take to this map and what their approach is. You can also see we've got things updated here. You can see the resource bar in the top right. That will generally keep up with the income as the players as they move forward. So wind is good on this map. So you can see how they're both starting with wind. Andy building 4, RVD building 2, and then immediately dropping his vehicle plant. The reason why they're going straight vehicle without coming over to take over any of these resources here on the side is because they intend to run their economies off of these reclaimables. Looks like they're chatting about a previous game, one that we don't have, sadly. It looks like Andy won that one. So RVD pushes out that first vehicle. Now he doesn't have any metal storage over 1,000. So even though there's these buildings here that are worth a lot, people tend to start by reclaiming the tiny things. You can see Andy's done that. He's already picked up 2 of those trucks, and his construction vehicle is going to come out, start grabbing these little guys right here, and use that to keep his economy going. So RVD went straight for this 753 building. The idea being he's got the storage for that. You can see up here on the top right how we've got the storage bars. You can see RVD's almost out of metal. He sucks that building up, and then he shoots right back up, and he immediately drops another vehicle lab. We'll go ahead and speed the game up. He's got 2 going, and now he's starting to build metal storage here, so that way he can increase the capacity and start to really clean up those bigger buildings. He's on 4 construction vehicles. RVD's got 3, but he's got his 2 factories going. Build more. And Andy goes ahead and starts with the flashes, intent to mess up RVD's economy. And RVD's got his first flash out the gate too. Going for the raids. This is unusual for RVD to start by hooking missile towers, rather than building and being aggressive. But I can't say I would have not done something like that myself. Here now, Andy's hooking and he's building these. When I say hook, the recorder gives a function that allows you to build rows of buildings, and that's called the TA hook. And so that's what that is right there. And you can see RVD, he's building his energy production and also doing the same with the metal storage as well. So that way they can suck in those big buildings and not excess anything at all. RVD is starting to control these buildings over here. And first shots are fired. You can see what Andy's doing right here is he's actually built these winds around this plant because this construction vehicle, he wants it to guard this vehicle plant from behind, just something you can do his arm. And so he traps it in there, and then it'll get started, although it looks like he messed up a little bit, so he's going to have to do it a different way. RVD's already got more plants out. He's got 3 that are building flashes, one's that's building construction vehicles. Andy's gone and he's walked his comm and he's dropped into the sea. RVD has done the same. He's got 2 construction ships out. Andy doesn't have any. So Andy went in, he built this, and then walked back out, built that, whereas RVD stayed in, and he's having his commander, who's the best builder in the game, stay in the sea and pump out these construction ships. So it looks like RVD is going to be trying to take control of the sea, whereas Andy's look like he's going to invest more in the land. Flashes come into contact over here. They're both kind of testing each other. Doesn't seem like either of them really wants to commit to a pitched battle. And RVD is not really expanding over here that much. And RVD here, you can see he's really committed to the sea. He's building all these extra sea labs using this metal that he's been picking up. Whereas Andy's just got the single shipyard right there. So you can kind of see how over here, this is where the forces are messing, and RVD is sending down his first scouts, his skeeters, to attack. You see here we have hordes of flashes all coming from Andy's plants. He's got all these over here. He's got 5 on this side. He's got 2 more up there, 3 down here, and all of you just building this massive wall of flashes that he intends to take over this field with. RVD, on the other hand, he opens up on the sea. And so this, you can see how Andy just simply outnumbers RVD at this point. Part of it has to do with the fact that where your comm is where you're invested. And so RVD being in the water is a little bit behind in the land, and Andy sees that. He sees, okay, RVD's got all these ships. That generally means I've got the advantage in the land. So he presses that advantage up north there. RVD brings his skeets to try and harass this. Now, RVD's gone air, and he's actually brought down these air cons to reclaim these buildings. You can see there's the air plant right there. And Andy's flashes break through. And this is slowing down the crawl of flashes. You can see how the ships are just kind of taking them out as they go. And I'll slow it down a little bit here since there's a lot going on. RVD going Samson's on this side, flashes on this. That makes it a little bit easier to control. And RVD's sea raid proves successful there as he takes out 2 of those factories. Somehow, Andy's missed it. He's got a con over here that's getting to get away with 7,000 metal. Looks like they're pausing right now because they're having some lag issues. RVD has gone advanced sea, and what he intends to do is build his economy using the sea. But Andy's broken through. The production are really hard to track. It says here that RVD's at plus 51 and Andy's at 62. That might be about right. But it's hard to tell with how much they're both actively reclaiming. So we really want to see who's in charge. We gotta check the totals. And right now it looks like Andy's behind by almost 20,000 metal. And that part, that has to do with the fact that RVD's been busy over here reclaiming, and he's got his air cons reclaiming over here. Now this is something right here where he has two construction aircraft going at the same time reclaiming. If they both started at the same time, he'll do something that's called multi-reclaiming, in which the construction aircraft will reclaim it at the exact same time and therefore double the amount of metal. So this building is worth 7,000. If they both started at the same time, he'll actually get 14,000 for it. RVD's going on the attack here. Knowing that Andy's pushed the advantage on the land, he figures he's got the advantage in the sea, and he goes to drive Andy out of the water. Over here, Andy's attack has stalled because of all these wrecks that actually have gotten set up, and that slows down his attack. Also, his flashes are kind of driving in the water, which slows him down in this nice, straight, tidy line, so they're taking a while to get there. He's got some coming from the other side. He's amassing an attack. Everybody's building more metal storages. Whereas Andy seems to have kind of stopped that. Still is saving these big buildings. RVD pressing his sea advantage to the full, takes out a con there. He's continuing to attack the factories, which were built a little too close to the water. And this is something I'm very surprised that RVD actually built a heavy laser tower, which tells you how he feels right now. Andy's really pressing that advantage, crashing in from both sides. You can see how they're having trouble moving through all this wreckage right here. He brings his ships up to try and help the defense. And once again, Andy's attack just kind of stalls on the wreckage field. And these heavy laser towers, he doesn't need to build dragon's teeth around them because the flash wreckage in the truck is keeping it alive. You can see what RVD's doing out here in the water is he's building these colossuses. Now each one of these produces close to 300 energy. Actually, I believe it's 250 once you turn off the radar that they have. And that is an excellent source of energy, in part because they build it really quickly. They cost a little over 1,000 metal, but they're up and going very fast. Andy being driven out of the water doesn't look like he actually intends to try and retake it. So he started building his economy. Instead of using ships, he's building fusions and using Moho metal makers to produce all that excess metal that he needs. So right now it looks like Andy's producing close to around 80 metal, whereas RVD is producing around 60. And here we go. We've got the biggest traffic jam ever coming from the country getting into the city, such that even the ones that do get through get taken out. And he still has a small contingent of skeets. And it looks like he's controlled Z'd his entire Flash army back. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing there. Might be trying to get around and go up the other way, since he knows that this side is basically fully stopped up. There's something, if I were Andy, I probably would have switched to a unit that would have been able to enable him to be a little more aggressive in the wreck field. But hindsight is 20/20 on this sort of thing. RVD with this one con here that died happened to build a missile tower, which is sitting here shooting that idle construction vehicle because Andy's too busy down here focusing on building his economy up. You notice he's also started to build advanced bombers. And RVD's sea economy is really coming alive right here. He's built a second advanced shipyard, so he's really cranking out these ships. RVD's also dropping a fusion as well. And he's built some sentinels himself, try and guard his territory. See, RVD's got his medical extractors capped, but these are not because this is essentially Andy's unclaimed territory. And here comes another horde of flashes that he's just sending up there. On maps like this with a large amount of reclaim, it almost feels, and when you're playing like it's got infinite resources. And so as a result, you end up just building and building and building and building, and you're not really focused on controlling or making things efficient. It's just whoever outbuilds the other person is going to be the one who wins. Kind of see up here we have the massing flash army and we have the skeeters. And then down here this is where the economy is coming out. RVD's working on yet another fusion. Oh, sorry, it was Andy working on his fusions. RVD's got his done right here, and he's actually starting to build Hawks. Hawks were generally the game ender in a lot of TA games. They're very powerful. You can get a lot of forces to the same location very quickly and concentrate firepower. Excellent at air superiority, as well as assassinating comms and just generally controlling territory. So you can see Andy's got his giant traffic jam in the top right. See here, Andy's closed the gap a little bit. RVD's only ahead by 8,000 metal. That's a pretty close game right now. More flashes dying on the shores. Now in TA had issues with pathfinding once you got more than a certain number of units and you gave them an order all at the same time. I believe that's been fixed. Okay, now you just heard those bombers sound go off in the bottom left. That's Andy off-screening his bombers. He's scouted, and so now he intends to follow his bombers up. So you can see his screen up here moving. Here comes the scouts. Let's see what he sees. Andy knew that RVD had built a ton of stuff on the top of the map, so he just goes ahead and he just line bombs everything up top there. Takes out all those wins. Not a big loss for RVD. Most of his energy is coming from down here right now. So he off-screened those bombers back again. He intends to do a little bit more. Again, just giant army of flashes not doing anything. Here come those bombers. More flashes dying on the shores. And there they go. Off to the races. Yeah, and he's just continually expanding his economy here. He's got all these Moho metal makers going. Looks like he's, they're both around plus 200 metal or so right now. Freshly line bombed area. There's actually a path for him to get through, but he quickly, you can see how the Hawks just flies him back and forth and just uses that to stop those flashes from coming in. You see the marks going down right there as Andy is just scouted and he's spotted these things, indicates those are things that he wants to bomb. He sends some bombers off screen. Kind of unlucky to run there. He changed targets too early there, and as a result, that fusion's still left alive. Andy switching to Hawks down there. And you can see we've actually got the marks going because we got the recorder functions working for this particular game. A lot of our earlier episodes, they are pre-recorded, and so there's not stuff we're not going to be able to fix. But starting with this one, and you'll see most of them that have all the features that we've got here. And so Andy's dropping in the marks, marking down things that he intends to bomb. He's got a nice group of bombers built up there right now. RVD brings his Hawks in. Once again, he's created the traffic jam up here. So even though Andy has, I don't know, it has to be hundreds of flashes, they just can't get anywhere. RVD flies some scouts in. He marks those fusions. He indicates that that's something that's really important for him to take out. Here comes RVD's bombers. Now you notice there how the bomber looked like it was blue? It's because on this particular map, the off-screen is lower in elevation than on-screen. As a result, when these bombers fly in, they're actually flying in from underneath the map. And that's why when they dropped their bombs, they didn't really do anything. These fusions needed a couple more bombs to go. But a lot of those bombers were underneath the map when they launched. So I was unlucky for RVD there. And you can see how he's trying to target Andy's economy. Brings in more Hawks. And this is just kind of sad over here, how he's got all these flashes, but they just don't do anything. And Andy decides he wants to take out the Moho makers. He wants them to excess on energy. That's a pretty smart move. Gets a couple of them, but then he flies his Hawks off and they save. So you can see how Hawks can be used for pinpoint airstrikes. He's flying these Hawks over right here as scouts. Again, his hordes of flashes just aren't getting anywhere. Andy's 250 metal to RVD's around 200. A lot of it has to do with the fact that these Moho makers were destroyed. And he's just accessing an energy, because RVD is producing close to 20,000 energy to Andy's 17. Now we just missed RVD's bombing run where he just said WTF. He again flew in from the bottom and didn't take anything out because the bombers were below the elevation of the map. And he's flying his Hawks in. He wants to take out RVD's economy. RVD brings his Hawks out, and Andy just quickly retreats his swarm. He doesn't intend to commit at this point and lose it, because those heavy laser towers doing work. So he did a decent job there. That was almost taking out a fusion's worth. And Andy keeps himself up and going. But you can see how just fast he can replace these things, as he's just cranked them out out of 3 advanced shipyards right now. So in the time that he lost those, he's already almost got them fully replaced. Whereas fusions take a little while to get going, because you can see how they got to move from place to place. So while RVD's economy continually is going, Andy's just kind of stopped right now. And RVD's attack gets stuck on the traffic jam. More traffic over here. Just once you get into the city there, I mean, you know how it goes. RVD building more bombers. And here come Andy's Hawks. This is a nice attack right here. And retreats. So a nice little quick pinpoint strike. See, RVD's bringing his ships down. It's always ideal to fight with your Hawks over the business. Now here, RVD's avoiding that issue he was having before. And he just bombs 4 fusions right there. That's a really big deal. Make that 5 fusions in an advanced air lab right there. That was a really nice run. And that'll put Andy really far back. You can see how he went from about 19,000 energy down to 13. He's going to have to shut down some of his Moho metal makers, which he does. That was a really big hit on Andy. So it looks like Andy's got more of the map, but because RVD's got the C, he's in good shape. Now Andy knows he's got to rebuild that and rebuild it quickly. More scouts. And that's really nice by Andy again. He sees that RVD pulls his Hawks away, and he comes in for another attack on RVD's economy. So RVD is still hovering around 20,000 energy. And these are little flak ships. They're great at bringing down large Hawk swarms, especially when they bunch up. And again, it's good to fight with your Hawks over the top of your own anti-air, because the Hawks primarily target other aircraft first, which means you can bring in your anti-air and have it let it shoot for free while your Hawks are battling in the sky above. And so they'll start to knock out those Hawks, and you can win yourself an advantage that way, even if you're behind in production. Traffic jam is starting to resolve itself. RVD just does this little loop-to-loop with the Hawks, and he keeps that under control. Andy's seeing RVD's Hawks busy. He comes in for another hit. That's just unlucky by RVD. Bombers flies right into the Hawk swarm. Andy drives RVD back over his own anti-air, and RVD retreats. Again, neither of them really wants to commit to a pitched Hawk-to-Hawk fight over the top of the other person's anti-air. This is turning into a Hawk fest, but I enjoyed those games. Especially, I like how they're both tactically using your Hawks, especially Andy with these attacks in the bottom. But RVD's economy coming from the sea, it might just be too much for Andy to overcome. Here comes a giant Hawk swarm. RVD going the offensive. And he's trying to group his up, but he knows how he's not sending him in all bunch because they would just die. So he's got to wait until they're spread out. As a result, RVD's really coming in. We have these Hawks coming in from the other side. They get all bunched up. He loses a bunch of them. Nicely timed by RVD. That was a good attack. He puts him in big trouble. Puts Andy in big trouble, rather. RVD's got these Guardians and heavy laser towers up. I don't think that the traffic jam of Hawks is going to be able to break through. Turns on some of the... He sets these to patrol, turns on the aircraft carriers, and the Hawks will go land and automatically repair themselves. It's a nice little feature. Another bombing run coming in. RVD takes out another fusion. Just so much going on here. So now Andy's economy is in big trouble. He's got making 14,000 energy, turning that into metal, versus RVD's 24,000 energy. So right now the production looks like it's about 385 to 240. RVD's ahead by nearly 100 metal. I think that's definitely RVD's game right now. RVD even commits, coming in, and takes over the skies over Andy's base. That's going to be game. Andy surrenders. And that's it. Really good game. It's good to see two players going at each other on Trout Farm here. Like I said, it's kind of like an infinite resource map for a lot of people if played correctly. You can see how their economy has just really exploded. It was more about building than it was about being tactical, although you can see the different tactical decisions that really open the game up, especially RVD's bombing run to take out all those fusions that really open the game up for him. So hope you guys like this one, and you all take care. Catch you next time. Bye.